The judges are ready. Drum majors Paul Helwig, Cindy Moss, and Larry Van Mersbergen. Is your band ready? Niles West High School Marching Band, you may take the field for competition.
I'm back to you about that. You're going to give something else pretty soon, too. I think you tease her, too.
Where did you get it? Well, we need some.
Want to buy one?
Huh?
Want to buy one? Which one?
I don't know. We got it.
Did you get any?
The Niles West High School Band is under the direction of William Cook. This is the Niles West's first marching appearance here at MBA. The band recently made a movie, by the way, with Goldie Hawn in Chicago. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a big MBA round of applause for the Niles West High School Marching Band. marching band addicts. Are there any addicts out there? The 1985 MBA Grand National Championship is scheduled for November 15 and 16, and once again to be held at the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis, Indiana. We guarantee perfect weather conditions. 50 bands from 14 states are already enrolled in this national contest. Inside your program book tonight, you'll find a Grand National ticket order form. If you would like to see the most outstanding field of marching bands ever gathered at one event, then plan to be with us. The 1985 Grand National Championships at the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis, November 15 and 16.
Yeah. Good then. Yeah.
Yes, it is. We're going to give them a picture. No, I don't think they should do that with the other band on the field. He happened to miss it. Rick. Pretty play. Ooh, I like that.
Our next unit comes to us from Adams, Wisconsin. Their repertoire begins with Firestorm, followed by Journey to Tomorrow, Fire Dance, and the greatest love of all. They are the Adams Friendship High School Marching Band. Are the judges ready? Drum Major Audra Havorka.
Now, earlier we mentioned that the mother was handicapped. Some of her friends are saying she wasn't that badly handicapped. She had some problem with her legs and that she could have ran out of the house. They did not get out of the house. Fire officials say that 3 of the children were found in a bedroom in the rear of the house in the closets, and the fire chief just a short while ago said that it's very possible that they just panicked and never made it out, of course, alive. They are going to be continuing their investigation. Hopefully sometime this evening we'll have a cause behind this tragic fire. Reporting live in Sauk Village, Mike Kersh, Channel 2 News.
In China, the government is sending in troops at this hour to bring an end to a month of student protests for democratic reforms. This was the scene in Beijing's main square just a few minutes ago. Dawn was breaking as thousands of protesters waited for the soldiers to arrive and carry out the first government crackdown since the demonstrations began.
For a month, Chinese leaders had made no move to stop the growing protests in the vast Tiananmen Square. Protests that included demands for the resignation of top government officials and a hunger strike that had doctors scurrying through the crowd to treat thousands of students. Even when the demonstrators ignored the pleas of government leaders not to disrupt the summit visit of Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev and in fact surged to the very steps of the meeting hall, the government did nothing. But last night, this morning, Chicago time, things began to happen. Top Chinese leaders appeared unannounced to speak with the protesters in the square. Party boss Zhao Zhang, who appeared to sympathize with the students, and Premier Lai Peng, a target of student demands to resign. The leaders left, and within hours, the government banned public demonstrations. The students called off the hunger strike, but refused to leave the square. Just after midnight, word came that party boss Zhao, who opposed cracking down on the students, had resigned. Premier Lai Peng went on television with a hard line. He declared martial law in Beijing. Shortly after came word the soldiers were on the way, brought in from outside the city because troops in Beijing had balked at moving against the students. The students say they will defy the army and stand their ground, but they have sworn to avoid violence.
Are you frightened?
No, we don't fight. Of course, at that time we are a bit cold, but we will never fall. We will win. I think we are all determined. We will never fall.
It's just after sunup in China right now, and CBS News correspondent Dan Rather has spent much of the night covering the demonstration in Tiananmen Square. I spoke with Dan by satellite just a few hours ago, where he sized up the mood in the square.
Naturally, it's an air of depression here. Also an air of defiance, Lester. The hunger strikers want to go out with, as they put it, their honor intact. They have said, we won't cause trouble, we won't be violent about it, but they're going to have to come and get us.
This has been a nonviolent protest up to this point. Do you anticipate any kind of clashes when the soldiers move in?
No, and it's almost eerie, Lester, that from the beginning, all sides in this incredible development seem to have been committed to nonviolence. The students, right from the start, didn't want any violence and were determined not to have any. The government, whatever else you may or may not think of the government and the Communist Party apparatus, they've handled this situation gingerly with a determination not to have violence. It's an amazing thing to see, perhaps unprecedented in modern times, for a government and a Communist Party to be challenged the way this one has, openly in front of the world, and not to respond with the slightest violence. Well, it's just fantastic is the only word that comes to mind.
Well, it appears the strikers, the hunger strikers, and the demonstrators are going to lose this battle. But what about the long-range war, their battle for democracy? What do you anticipate there?
Well, China is not going to do the same. There certainly is going to be change. There will be, in my expectation, there will be some opening up of some few freedoms here. Lester, you may have heard the loudspeakers go on. What's happening is yet another speech from the government is being beamed out to the demonstrators here in the square, telling them you are now in an officially declared disorder area. Move out of there. You're in defiance of the law.
Are they moving?
Nobody officially, no, they're not moving. What they usually do is shout back. Some of them shake their fists, but usually in what I gather to be typical Chinese fashion, they listen when someone says, you must move, they sit down.
Dan Rather joining us a short time ago from Beijing by satellite. Of course, he'll have complete coverage of the fast-developing events in China on the CBS Evening News tonight at 6 here on Channel 2.
The government of Iran is suing the United States in the World Court over the downing of an Iranian jetliner last July. 290 people died when the USS Vincennes shot down the jet after a Navy captain mistakenly identified it as a fighter plane. Iran wants the U.S. to pay compensation for the victims. The FBI has launched a criminal investigation into the turret explosion that killed 47 sailors on board the battleship Iowa last month. The investigation is targeting 2 sailors who took out life insurance, naming each other as beneficiaries a year before the explosion. According to a Virginia newspaper, both sailors were assigned to number 2 turret where the explosion took place. One of the sailors was killed in the blast, the other survived.
The airline industry is still smarting from a series of mishaps involving older airplanes is welcoming a government plan to make older planes safer. The FAA has ordered dozens of modifications to early models of the Boeing 727s, 737s, and 747s. The airlines and manufacturers began drafting the plan with the FAA after this 20-year-old 737 ripped open over Hawaii last year. The average age of jetliners in this country is 13 years old. A plan to modify older McDonnell Douglas and Lockheed planes is expected soon.
Still ahead in this half hour, some very important foods may be missing from your child's school cafeteria. We'll tell you why. And Nicholas Corwin's mother talks about her son's senseless death 1 year after Laurie Dan went on that fatal shooting spree in Winnetka. Next.
Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. My hair used to be a joke. Dry, split ends. Then I discovered Pantene. Pantene has this pro-vitamin formula that actually strengthens your hair from inside. It's incredible. Even with everything I put my hair through, it looks so healthy, strong, shiny. Listen, it won't happen overnight, but it will happen.
Pantene, serious care for beautiful hair.
You'll see.
For great personal service and low everyday prices, check the lineup at your neighborhood True Value hardware store, where the May hardware value of the month is the Scripto Aim and Flame disposable torch. It features electronic ignition, an adjustable flame, and an easy-reach nozzle, so it's great for cookouts and camping. The Scripto Aim and Flame is handy in the home, too, and during May, it's just $236, where you see the banner at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
Surprising questions, revealing answers. Linda McLennan goes behind the scenes with Linda Gray and Primetime Women, tonight at 10, only on Channel 2.
It's Performance Summer at your local Ford dealer, and he's offering the hottest savings on America's hottest cars. Right now, get 2.9% financing or up to $500 cash back on the exciting Ford Probe, the sporty Escort GT, or the classic Ford Mustang. Plus, for a limited time, get a free personal stereo from Carson Perry Scott when you take a test drive. Also register at Carson's to win a new Mustang GT convertible. Hot savings and a free personal stereo during Performance Summer at your local Ford dealer. Quality people, quality performance products.
Wave reviews, swimwear from Marshall Fields, Catalina. A shower of rainforest finery. Bold, beautiful. Robbie Lynn, a wash in luscious color for sun and sea. Harbor casuals, whet your appetite with tropical punch. Swimwear from Marshall Fields.
Mayor Daley is naming a special committee to clean up the city's affirmative action program. The appointments come just 2 days before a scheduled broadcast report on CBS 60 Minutes. CBS correspondent Ed Bradley will report on abuses of Chicago's set-aside contracts for women and minorities.
They're going to be looking at this and come up with strong recommendations on behalf of the city of Chicago, and whether it deals with other legislation dealing with the city council or even going to Springfield. It's going to be strong legislation to protect and make sure that the set-aside program is working effectively.
The committee members are former federal judge Susan Getzendonner, South Shore Bank Chairman Milton Davis, and Hispanic civil rights activist Ruben Castillo.
The Cook County Medical Examiner is changing the official cause of death for Samuel Linares from undetermined to accidental. Last month, Rudy Linares disconnected his brain-damaged infant son from a life support system at gunpoint. Linares and his wife went home last night after a grand jury refused to charge him with murder in the death of his comatose 15-month-old son. A judge telling Linares, "You have suffered enough." Today, in a taping for Channel 2 newsmakers, State's Attorney Cecil Partee said Illinois law must be updated to catch up with medical progress.
We can come up with a statute which will give people the right to make certain that their relatives can face death in dignity, and their decisions can be made where they may do what has to be done with the consent of each other or consent of the person.
Partee says a task force of civic and religious leaders will study the issue and draft new laws. The Linares case was the subject of our Channel 2 telepoll. We asked, do you agree with the grand jury's decision? Here's what you told us. 90% said yes, the grand jury made the right decision. 10% said no, the grand jury decision was wrong. More than 3,000 viewers called to register their opinions. The telepoll is not a scientific sample of opinion, but it does reflect the opinions of those of you who called to tell us how you feel.
Throughout the country, school lunch programs could run low on dairy products this fall. Supplies of milk, cheese, and butter may be low because Congress passed a law that reduces the surplus production of dairy products. So there will be less available for the government to buy. Spokesman says the milk and cheese in question are extra supplies given to the schools in addition to what they normally get. Tomorrow marks the one-year anniversary of the darkest day in the history of Winnetka, the day Lori Dan opened fire in a classroom in the North Shore suburb. 8-year-old Nicholas Corwin was killed. 1 year later, our Phil Ponce spoke with Linda Corwin in the park that's become a symbol of her son's spirits.
It's a place where families like to bring their children. There's a play lot and there are fields in which to run. And it's also where a gifted athlete and student had some of the best moments of his short life.
The park has so many beautiful memories for us. Cheering Nicky on, playing soccer. Going back to also when he was a baby, playing on the equipment.
The place that meant so much to him is now called Nick Corwin Park. He was the only child killed in last year's shooting. For his family, this living memorial helps deal with the pain of their loss.
It gives us some peace in dealing with it. And this is just a wonderful place to have him remembered. And that does help.
Park officials voted to rename the park after Nick after they were persuaded by residents it would memorialize not a tragedy, but a young life.
I don't know what the big deal is. Why don't... It doesn't remind me of the shooting, it just reminds me of Nicky.
This is a nice place to feel his presence, and I hope other children can feel his presence here in a very positive way.
But the plaque makes it clear. The park is dedicated not just to a promising life cut short, but to the promise and potential that exists in all young lives. In Winnetka, Phil Ponce, Channel 2 News.
The park is near the Corwin home and is where Nicholas used to play soccer.
Coming up next, Terry has the weekend forecast, and a sharp eye, a magic touch, and 20 years of practice is all it takes to sink this winning shot. What a beauty it is. Next.
Mom, where's Grandma?
Something broke.
Her hip?
Her dishwasher.
Dishwasher.
Announcing Highland's 3-day sale. Now through Saturday, save on hundreds of items.
Mom, where's Daddy?
Darling.
He wouldn't.
He did, to save on a new TV.
Oh.
Get this RCA programmable VHS video recorder with wireless remote, just $247.
At least I know I can always count on you, Mom. Mom?
Highland's 3-day sale, now through Saturday.
A special buy from America's biggest carpet mill made it possible. Now through Saturday only, Carpetland USA announces the lowest DuPont Stainmaster carpet price in the country. Just $9.99 a yard installed with pad. That's DuPont's regular $25 Stainmaster carpet, now $9.99 a yard installed. Plus, make no payment with no interest for 6 months. Repeating, now through Saturday, Stainmaster carpet, $9.99 a yard installed. It's America's best carpet deal. Only through Saturday and only at Carpetland USA.
In Australia, 90% of the population lives near the beach. Understandably, this has fostered a rather serious interest in finding ways to make life as easy as possible. They've made their language briefer, and on occasion their business attire. Some have even been known to make a career of the beach. Why, in Brisbane, they've even found a way to make taking out the trash a much less troublesome experience. They called in an American company to do it, Waste Management, who developed a citywide system of trash collection that makes things easier for the local government, easier for the 140,000 homeowners, in fact, easier for everyone involved, which makes going halfway around the world to find us
See you at the beach then, David?
well worth the effort.
No worries, girls. No worries.
Waste Management, helping the world dispose of its problems.
There are some things that just have to be seen to be believed. Case in point, a remarkable trick shot at a billiards tournament last night in California. Watch Jean Catrone sink 40 billiard balls with one shot. Jean Catrone working tabletop magic at the Willie Mosconi 9-ball tournament. We don't know actually how long it took to set up that shot, but Catrone has been playing pool for 20 years.
I don't think I'd want to make that
Incredible.
guess.
No, I don't think so either.
Harry Volkman's weekend forecast is coming up next in just a minute. But first, here's Bill Curtis in the newsroom with a look at some of the stories we're working on tonight for the 5 o'clock news. Bill?
Well, Mayor Daley's been watching Channel 2 News, apparently. He's seen our stories about absentee students and phantom teachers at one city college campus, and tonight he's doing something about it. And then new subpoenas in the massive federal investigation of Chicago traders. Gene Siskel will also review the new movie starring Patrick Swayze. It was shot in Chicago, and it's called Roadhouse. Those stories and Johnny Morris's preview of tonight's Bulls next game. It's all coming up at 5.
All right, Phil. Rain was nice. We needed it, but it sure would be nice to see some sunshine this weekend.
You'll have it this weekend, Adele?
Promise?
You like it as much as Walter Jacobson does, maybe, doesn't you too, Lester? It'll be much better than some of the weekends we've had this month. Remember, we had snow just a couple of weekends ago. Temperatures are mild, and we've had as much as almost an inch down around Hazel Crest, South Cook County, 3/4 of an inch around Berwyn and Burbank, and only a quarter around Hanover Park and Elgin. So the south side was a little more drenched. O'Hare 70, where they've had at least 1/3 of an inch today. Wind is south 16, humidity is very high at 87. And let's move right along now. Pressure is dropping. You see, they're into the live local radar. The rain is moving away from the city at this time. There's still spotty rain back out here to the west into DeKalb County and scattered off to the west and south around Peoria. Other big lines to the south, there's a tornado warning down in Crawford County, but that's about 55 miles north of Evansville, Indiana. On the mid-afternoon national radar, you see there are a lot of echoes here, but they will have passed out by morning, and the sun will be coming out. If it isn't out by sunrise, it'll be out during the day. Here are the clouds with the rain that was so badly needed. We still need more, of course, but it will be a few days, perhaps around Wednesday when the rain comes in again. We'll take a look at these things along with those measuring rain instruments on the 5 o'clock show. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms, pretty well scattered around, low 60, south winds 12 to 18. Much of the bigger rain, unfortunately, has already happened now. Skies will be clearing tomorrow with mild temperatures in the 75 high. Winds will come in from the west, basically 10 to 16. The outlook for Sunday, it's a beautiful day with a high in the middle and upper 70s, and you'll love it, Lester and Adele.
That's nice.
When we come back, meet the loneliest bull. He plays a key role in the team's success, but you rarely see him on the court. That's next.
Oh, honey, don't come near me, please.
Oh, I can't. No, it's not a good idea.
No, baby, not right now, no.
Oh, sweetie, you don't want to get too close.
Till that sticky, pasty morning mouth film on your mouth, teeth, and gums is powered away with Scope, and the worst breath of the day is replaced with the best.
Kiss me.
What are you waiting for?
Let me kiss.
You may kiss me now.
Scope, the best thing first thing in the morning.
This awful itch. Won't anything stop it fast?
Lanacane will. Lanacane shuts off the itch like a switch, instantly. Look, Benadryl can't. Cordaid can't. Hydrocortisones can't. Only Lanacane cream actually quiets the itch nerves that cause every itch, instantly, on contact. So for the fastest relief of every itch, get Lanacane.
Lanacane does shut off the itch. Like a switch, instantly.
Aldi says, let's have a party. You can invite a lot of friends with soda at just 15 cents a can. A half-pound bag of potato chips is just 59 cents. And it'll be a real hot time with charcoal at just $1.99 for a 20-pound bag. Because with Aldi everyday low prices, the party never ends.
Aldi, the summer stock-up store.
Wonderful place, Hidden Valley. Just what you'd expect for the home of Hidden Valley Ranch salad dressing. Folks here are proud of our original ranch recipe. The secret's in the special blend of herbs and spices, and everyone loves that creamy homemade taste. Hidden Valley Ranch. How could anything so fresh and delicious come from anywhere else? True, not everyone can live in Hidden Valley, but you sure can get a taste of it. Hidden Valley Ranch.
It is showdown time for the Bulls tonight as they try to finish off the New York Knicks. A win would put the Bulls in the conference final against Detroit. As Steve Baskerville reports, all eyes will, of course, be on Michael Jordan, but there is another member of the team you don't see much, a man who also plays a key role in the team's success.
You certainly don't need a scorecard to tell when the Bulls are playing, whether it's Michael soaring or Scotty scoring or Cartwright laying in two. But maybe the Bulls wouldn't play so alive if it wasn't for number 15.
I work very hard on the sideline to keep the team motivated and focused.
His name is Jack Haley, and yes, he's a forward for the Chicago Bulls. And if he gets in the game or not, it's his practice to come ready to play.
I live for practice. Because, you know, I'm not fortunate enough to get to play every night. When practice rolls around, you know, we go at them, and we come at it real hard. And when we scrimmage, it's the white team, which is the starters, against the red team, which is the second string guys. And I say 9 out of 10, we always win the scrimmage because we want it a lot more than they do. We're out there to impress.
Jack's not the only Haley who leaves a good impression. His wife, Stacy, works hard at her career, too. And while Jack's at practice, you'll find her keeping in shape in the gym next door. Stacy's the hostess of a TV game show called Relatively Speaking.
I don't have a big role. I'm kind of like Jack. I'm on the sidelines doing the best that I can, but I've got my foot in the door.
As a matter of fact, Jack's taken a crack at television.
I can be seen in the Toyota commercial as the big guy or the big man that comes in to save the game.
But it's basketball that's still the big show in Jack Haley's life. And in his very short career, he's already made the play of a lifetime. It was against the Knicks all-star center, Patrick Ewing. It was during their last meeting of the regular season.
Jack Haley! I don't even think I'll ever jump that high again. I think I shocked Patrick, and even today, you know, in the series, when I see him every day, and there's definitely bad blood between us. Because he wants me to get the game so he can stop me, and I want to get the game so I can do it again.
Steve Baskerville, Channel 2 News.
Tip-off time for tonight's game is 7:05. We'll have highlights, of course, and a live report at 10.
When we come back, Bob Wallace picks up the pace to win a big race. And where's Wallace next?
Robert C. Rehnquist Company, Chicagoland's award-winning builder, presents the grand opening of the luxurious Westchester Club townhouses. Adjacent to Oak Brook and Hinsdale, these elegant townhomes feature lofts, fireplaces, custom cabinetry by Joliet Cabinet Company, mature landscaping installed by Fenn Landscape Company, and brick driveways and walkways by Paver Construction Company. Located at 26th and Wolf Road in Westchester, these luxurious townhomes start at only $314,500. Call Rehnquist Company at 531-1776.
I do my banking at Tallman because they believe in the same things I do, hard work and hard-working people. And that's made Tallman the largest savings and loan in Illinois. And thousands of people have bought their homes through Tallman, and thousands more save for their future there. I never worry about the fine print at Tallman. They treat me right. If it's important to you, go to Tallman. They'll treat you right, too.
A great financial institution dedicated to people who know what it means to work for a living.
At iLab, first a doctor takes 21 steps to make sure you see right. Then we make sure you get your glasses fast. iLab, where more than meets the eye. Read the first line, please. Now the last two. Very good. iLab, where more than meets the eye.
It's one of the fastest speeds around, and Bob Wallace is there. Bob?
Well, we are out in the middle of the Kankakee River, believe it or not. Conditions could not be worse today for the drag boat races that take place here tomorrow and over the weekend. We're in Moment, and we're at the Moment Anchor Club, and we're going to give you an idea what these boats do. What they are is high-powered boats. They've got big engines in the back. They go like a bat out of you-know-where. There are jet boats, and they're a prop-driven. Over here is Joe Cantwell's jet boat, and we're going to have Joe make a pass for him. How fast now do you think, Ed?
Pardon?
How fast do you think he's going?
Goes around 95 right
Around 95 miles an hour in a boat. Now, what's the boat? We're in a flat. This is a flat bottom boat. It's got a big Chevy engine in it.
Right, yep.
And this is Ed Pulowski. And we're gonna go fast now too.
Right.
All right. As I say, conditions couldn't be worse. If you want to do this, come down here tomorrow for qualifying at 10 o'clock. Sunday at noontime, the races start. And we're going to give you an idea what one of these fast boats do, and I'm going to put the mic in here so I don't lose it again, and I'm going to hold on. Ed's going to start the engine, and we're going to make a pass. They race quarter miles like cars. So we're going to get back up a little ways so we can make us a pass here. And I'm holding on for dear life, let me tell you. Hit it. I
forgot to put my face shield down, and I tell you, that stuff, we can go back up to Kevin. Whew. I forgot. Now, let's go up to him.
I think what Bob is telling us, he got a face full of water there.
It sounded like he was spluttering.
I forgot to put my face shield down. This stuff is like ball bearings going in the eyes. We'll send it back to you. Momance, Kankakee River this weekend, the jet drag boats.
Looks like a thrill. All right, Bob, thanks very much. That wraps it up for us here, but we're going to move right over to the 5 o'clock news. Here's Bill in Wall Street now, gentlemen.
We have a scholarship program that encourages some students to stay out of class, and now Mayor Daley wants some answers. And then a day of sadness in the southern suburbs. A college baseball team mourns the loss of a star pitcher.
Also ahead here, as our news continues tonight at 5 o'clock, why crickets may be the secret weapon in solving a crisis that faces Chicago and the suburbs. Adele Arakawa will explain. And our financial analyst, Terry Savage, will tell us about a very unusual lesson being taught to some of the top businessmen here in the city.
Those stories, and Refrigerator Perry talks about his comeback with the Bears. Next at 5.
Channel 2, WBBM Television, Chicago.
From Chicago's news team, live, the 5 o'clock news.
A scholarship scam at one of the Chicago city colleges, and tonight Mayor Daley wants to know why. Good evening. The mayor is ordering the board of the Chicago city colleges to immediately begin an investigation into that scam at Kennedy King College. It follows our own investigation here at